Don't miss in 26. Check out the highlights for New Comic Book Day February 25, 2026. The new history of the DC Universe explores the Dakota incident in a one-shot special. Discover a new, noir icon in peril of the brutal dark. An Ezra Kane mystery. Flash and Harley Quinn continue. Spider-Man and Venom begin a month-long crossover with a one-shot kickoff called Death Spiral. Predator crashes a martial arts tournament in a mini-series called Bloodshed, and Punisher is back with an all-new ongoing series. Universal Monsters returns with Phantom of the Opera now in the spotlight. Skinbreaker, Capes, and Void Rivals continue. Star Trek gets a special issue focusing on deviations and threads of destiny. The Rocketeer returns with a new issue called The Island. And Red Book 1 continues. Get what you want, and more, at iwantmorecomics.com.
Well, that was a mouthful.
There's a bunch.
It seems to be a bigger week there, Richie. What's going on?
It does feel like it's a bigger week, and that's all just like number ones and stuff. Like there's a ton of stuff just ongoing that's really good. That's either finishing up or continuing. It's a lot. There's a lot of good stuff going on.
Well, welcome to our show. It is the Half Hour Hype. It is Tuesday. It is Keith and Richie, and we did done bringing the comics.
We did, yes.
We've got plenty to turn around and talk about, and I have no problem with leading off, no matter how it derails whatever Richie's notes is, with a question from the audience. What Punisher cover should I get, Richie?
Snap. Okay.
From
Let's do it. Punisher.
I have no problem with audience-led parts of the show. Shows participation. While I'm starting to browse the website, you guys can join us along on iwantmorecomics.com. Turn around and click on the shop icon at the shop in the menu up top. And the very first thing there, new releases this week, will get you to this beautiful page with all these options and different filters. Today, I just went to Marvel, and we can look at the Punisher. So Punisher #1 is here. I'll bet you it is on Richie's notes, isn't it?
Let's see. It is on my #1 list, and I'm happy to talk about it. Punisher is back in 2026. He's had actually like 3 titles that have been ongoing. Benjamin Percy has been is going to be on the helm on this one, and Jigsaw is back. It's going to go back to its roots. It is going to be a little higher octane and a little more not for the kids, if you will. Which variant am I picking? There are a ton of great ones. My eye automatically goes to JTC, the negative space, just because that's an excellent one. But I think if you haven't been collecting that, potentially that's not something you need. I'm fighting between, again, the Ario and Dito Hell's Kitchen one, because I love that imagery, and the Ryan Stegman foil. I didn't get the chance to see the variant, so I can't tell you how the foil looks. But if you can't decide through those, what I would suggest is going classic. If you're not going to go with the A and you need a variant, I'd pick up the television one with that sweet logo.
Yeah, there's definitely great options with this. I did go a little heavier. I was with you on JTC. The negative space on that just fits so well with the minimalistic colors.
Yes.
So I kind of liked it a lot.
Yeah, I feel like that's the easy one to pick up. I think that Punisher fits a little bit nicer than other series that we talk about, because all the variants seem to be kind of niche and part of collectibles. So even the JTC is an ongoing thing that he's been doing for a very long time. Marvel Rivals is for your Marvel Rivals collectors. The Punisher is from the television series style. So that's kind of fitting in with all those other things. And then the Ario Andito is actually part of the Hell's Kitchen verse. So there's a lot just for collectors, making it very easy. If you're just, closing your eyes and shooting, I would go to JTC or the Ryan Stegman.
Yeah, good options there.
So yeah, that is Punisher #1. I'll knock that guy off my list now. And we can jump into some other #1s as we break into it. I don't have these broken out in publishers, so let me quickly. We can move over to, since we're at Punisher, we can slip over to Predator, which has a new series as well. This is called Bloodshed. It is basically an intergalactic tournament of the most prized martial artists in the galaxy, and all of a sudden alien predator shows up to just make a whole mess of the tournament. So I think it feels very much like your typical base storyline of a Predator. All the Predator Marvel has been very good. They don't shy away from the R rating kind of style on this, and it even says right on up front street, rated with a parental advisory. I think you'll have a fun. If you are on Predator, you should pick it up. Thank you for highlighting that stunning Dan Panosian variant. That is the winner for me. This book, I think, will be quickly sold out by the weekend.
Good evening, Light One. Thank you for joining us.
From there,
I think that's the end of the Marvels.
I think that is.
I think so, yeah.
We can hop over to DC because they don't have a ton of #1s either. But it is one I do want to talk about. If you were picking up the new history of the DC universe, there was a 4-parter which was given to Mark Waid to kind of redescribe our history and the history of the DC universe, because every so often we kind of got to shift things along so everything makes sense. The comic itself is celebrating 90 years as a distribution, so congrats on DC for that. But with that comes kind of readjustment of time, because Batman can't necessarily be a 90-year-old man doing the things he does. So they've done that already. That's done and dusted. However, there is a new special that goes along with that new history of the DC universe. And for those that have been reading along in DCKO, light spoiler, but Static has made an appearance and is back in the DCU. And if you'd like to know where Static and all his fellow mates from Milestone have come from, we are going to reestablish their very solidified space in the DC universe in something called the Dakota Incident. This is a one-shot. If you purchased the new history of the DC universe, I did add you to that for our portal members. If you did purchase it, I don't want you to miss on this new special with most of the talent from Milestone and kind of a retelling of one of my favorite umbrella companies through DC. So,
the homage cover there to 52.
Yes, the 52.
Absolutely amazing.
I love it so much.
And there is something we said for the Dennis Cowan, Dan Jurgens duel here, which is right back into your heart of the 90s that Milestone came out of.
Still DC, but under an umbrella of Vertigo, we have The Pearl of Brutal Dark, an Ezra Kane mystery. This is Chris Condon and Jacob Phillips. They are known for That Texas Blood and the Enfield Gang Massacre, for those that have been following them through Image. They have a new Vertigo title, and I'm very excited about it. It's going to be more along the lines of like Indiana Jones and noir style detective, and they're kind of blending that into a mystical but gritty dark alleyway kind of storytelling. I trust both of them as much as I trust Jacob's dad, and his partner. I think this is going to be an easy read, a must pick up for anybody that's in the independents. I'd give it a shot if you must.
Yeah, plenty of variants there. Tula Lotay is on that. There's a foil of the A cover, the connectings for Bueno. It's a who's who right there.
Yeah, Tula's I think is my favorite. I think it just captures the essence of what the story is going to be. But honestly, there's not a miss.
Yeah, done really well. Like the the feel of a pulp book.
Mm-hmm. We can move over to Image Comics, or not Image, I'm sorry, Mad Cave Studios. Mad Cave has a #1 called Is Ted Okay? This is...
I'm going to predict no, but...
No, he's not okay. This is going to fit into your... I really wish I remember the movie's name with Keanu Reeves in the 90s about like Wall Street and the devil and
the Devil's Advocate.
Thank you. The Devil's Advocate. This feels very much like The Devil's Advocate in my mind. There's going to be some very Cthulhu-style thriller involved in the crazy mucked up world of billionaires and Wall Street. And I think it's going to lead down some very uncomfortable roads. Dave Chisholm is going to be in charge of everything, writing, illustrating. So it is a one-person vision, which is tends to be very good. If that sounds like fun for you, I think you should jump in on this bad boy. It will be a little under the radar, but I think there's definitely a reading base for it.
Right.
Over to Execution Posse Holdings, where we're going. I just was flipping through and I kind of missed this, but kind of remembered this. This is going to be Made Cafe. And it's going to feature Mark Spears Interiors, and with the highlighting being Remy Iso Makatir.
Now, Mark Spears cover.
Cover, yes.
Cover.
So there's a Mark Spears cover on this new polybagged with trading card comic book. This is the umbrella company for Teen Spot, I believe.
So it's kind of the adult. It's the adult line.
There you go. Thank you, Keith.
So yeah.
So it seems like it's just going to be your straight up, slasher concept with a slight tinge to like the Japanese culture. So I think it'll be especially for if you're picking up monsters, I think that this one's right in line, and the trading card always adds something special. So don't miss on that.
Yep.
In Oni Press, there is a new #1 called Murder Drones, and it's this is kind of it was a Kickstarter. They had like a record YouTube thing, and it hit like 330 million views in like an hour or something like that. It's crazy. But it is an all ages kind of like survival show, where all the like slasher stuff comes from mechs. So it's, a lot of black blood and things like that for your alternative, all ages story kind of thing.
Nice.
Next,
welcome to the show.
Hello. Next up in Antarctic Press, I'm going to talk about this, but honestly, it's a little late. So I just wanted to bring it up that we are out of Order of Saint Sophia, which is a new #1. If you're like, oh, dang, how did I miss out on that? I will invite you to our next Sunday night show where Keith and I talk about these comics, the same comics you're seeing here, but we talk about them at the pre-order stage, which means you can't miss. But unfortunately, when it's the half-hour hype, there's absolutely a shot you can miss or have to kind of deal with competitive market pricing. The final orders due show that we do, none of that's involved. So Order of St. Sophia is sold out. Look out for second prints. Hopefully we can get some, and we'll talk about that on that Sunday show. However, we still do have copies over at Dynamite Entertainment with the new Disney Villains story featuring Ursula. Sherry L. Smith at the writing helm. This is going to be probably a mini series with the great focus that they've had and the great success they've had with these villain-focused stories.
Yeah, these little 4-parter, 5-parters have done really well. They really kind of reach their intended audiences and give the story enough time to tell a story. and not just be rehashing what was, what we've all seen from movies, which I'm not saying is bad, but we do like more content, expanded universe kind of things like that. So this was an example of something that had a lot of different covers, but we only saw orders on the first cover, so that's what we stocked up there. But that was a opportunity also on the pre-order. If you always want to pick your cover, join us there to be in early for it.
Another number one I wanted to focus on is from Udon Entertainment. This is Darkstalker Street Fighter Hunter Killers #1. The thing about this is these are very highly sought after comic books, but are always under ordered and always looked after very late in the game. They will sell out by this weekend, so if it's something that you're interested in, this is the perfect opportunity to skip ahead, make sure you get your copy, and aren't trying to chase it for a month or so when you hear about it 2 weeks from now.
Nice.
And
we still have the 1 in 5, which is kind of surprising for me. This is usually the one that goes out right away.
Is the one that sells out quickly.
Copies of that one there.
Next up, we have under IDW, I have 2 number ones. We'll talk about Rocketeer and the Island, which is coming back with one of my favorite creators, John Layman, is taking on Rocketeer, and that alone gives a lot of hope to this comic for me. I will be giving it a shot simply because John's in the background there. But it is obviously a brand new story, and I think if you're a Rocketeer fan, it's something you should pick up. If you're a Dave Stevens fan, you definitely want to pick up this stunning variant that also is hitting the rack this week.
Yep, we've got a little bit of that left. I know orders are coming in pretty consistently for that.
And
IDW number one I know is this.
That's correct. Star Trek is doing kind of a what if series where they kind of look at pulling one thing, a thread aside and focusing on that, changing one piece and then looking at what the backlash would be, how that would change everything going forward. First up in this one-shot feature is Lieutenant Uhura and kind of seeing what she would be if she were actually the captain of the ship, and what that would look like for Star Trek ongoing from that point, what that would change. She was already insanely influential, but what honestly would that look and move forward if Uhura was pulled back in time and kind of shown her place and the power that she had on real history. So really cool stuff. I think it's Star Trek has become a very consistent series for us, and I know there's going to be people looking for this. But I do think that this one will have a little bit of a bump. So be careful when thinking that it'll just be on the rack for you this week. You might want to jump ahead and make sure you have one available in your collection. The photo one typically historically does better if we're talking about longevity of people caring about a cover. So potentially I suggest leaning that way. But if you get yourself an A, you are not going to be lost. I think it's a great story regardless.
Nice.
Finally, at Image Comics, my last number one, Universal Monsters is back, this time with Phantom of the Opera. The thing that I think is fantastic here is Tyler Voss and Martin Simmons are the creative team on this. That's going to be great. All of them have been great, so it's not really like me, doing a hot take here. Universal Monsters has been good across the board, which genuinely is tough with different creators. But honestly, regardless who they put behind the helm, it has always been very, very good. My suggestion for a cover is I'm always betting on Joshua Middleton, and this is no exception. Fantastic cover. I love it so much. I love his art. I think he captures everything he ever tries to draw, and he nails it out of the park with this one.
Yeah, really well done there. These have been gaining in popularity with the different monster books out there. So it's really good to see that has found its home with the different fan bases and is growing from that point.
We're going to zip over to Marvel real quick to talk about a number one that I missed, but I did want to talk about it a little bit more. Amazing Spider-Man Venom are doing a crossover series. It's a 9-parter, and it's going to go through Spider-Man and Venom, just kind of back and forth. It is called Death Spiral. It will take place and affect everyone within the Spider-Man family. So I do think that if you are reading Carnage, you want this. If you were reading Spider-Man or Venom, you are already tagged to this for the Portal people. Make sure not to miss out on the beginning of this series. This is the one shot that kind of kicks off the crossover event. From there, it's just going to be Venom or Spider-Man, Venom or Spider-Man.
Yep. And we can turn around and every week to week and all this using the crossover event here and all this. You'll be able to keep track of which one is it on, where is it supposed to be. You can check also for any of these that still are on pre-order if you want to get in and grab that. Covers are absolutely focused on what everybody
loves. The Ivan Coelho world, but like all of them are very, very eye-catching and statement pieces. So I don't think you can go wrong. That 3-piece with Spider-Man, Venom, and Carnage with all different artists is just, I don't know how you pick your favorite if you need one, but if you can, I'd get all 3.
Yeah, doing really well for that.
All right, from there, let's talk about Gemstone Publishing and a new release of something very old, but we have our big Overstreet price guides. Our price guides for 2026 are finally here. For those that do participate, you will want to know, and this is a great way to make sure you get one. For those that don't know, this is a guide that will help you in a roundabout way to finding your value of your comic books. It's been around for a very long time. It's not going to help you with the volatile swings of today's world, but it will absolutely help you with the overall value of your personal collection and those pieces that aren't always in the spotlight for the masses.
This is a really good desk reference type thing, especially if you're looking at stuff that's 80s, 90s built, that you're really looking for that type of information. We use this still around here at the shop for a lot of pricing of the common type stuff. Any of the things that end up getting into, all of a sudden it's been a movie, all of a sudden it's relevant, it's picking up the market. We still will look out there on things like trends like what's last sold on eBay and pieces like this. But this is used heavily here, and several of the copies ended up on different desks already today, just so that we can turn around and jam with those and keep our world in the right order.
Mm-hmm. Next up, I wanted to go over to DC because I will never not talk about Batman The Dark Knight Returns. It's getting a facsimile edition, which typically I don't highlight a ton of the facsimiles. There are a definite group of people that are shopping facsimiles, but Dark Knight Returns actually going to do the entire series again, celebrating its 40th, God, I'm old, anniversary. It's going to be, the thing I love about it is not only do you have your facsimile, your foil, and a blank, you also have 2 new variants for the series that I love, is personally my favorite of all time. And this week we're going to get a new Frank Miller #1 for Dark Knight Returns and a Jim Lee. If it weren't for how talented Jim Lee is, it would be a no-brainer for me. If I had to pick one, which I'm not, I would be getting just Frank Miller. However, Jim Lee's just lands it. And honestly, I think he's just, flexing here.
Yeah.
If that doesn't capture everything for Batman Returns or Dark Knight Returns, I don't know what does. That doesn't even happen until issue 4, but he's put it on issue 1, and I don't care. It's great. Fantastic.
So you're saying spoiler? A little bit.
Yeah. Spoiler, 40-year-old comic. But the Frank Miller is phenomenal. And anytime I can get a new Frank, I'm happy. I know that that's a hot word in the internet world, but you know, sometimes I just like what I like. From there,
Demetrio here was saying, can you go to Monster Ton? Monster Ton is put out by Simon & Schuster. We just got access into ordering from them, so we are going to be a couple months behind on really being in with them. Simon & Schuster was delayed in getting, everything set up and all this, so that in a couple months that is something we can turn around and look at.
Yes, good question. The other thing I wanted to highlight is that Image Comics. We have another second printing, but one that I think kind of took people by surprise. Assorted Crisis Events has blown up. I'm very happy for it because it is a great story. Denise Camp is just that guy. I don't know what to tell you. And so issue 8 sold out, I think, in a big bad way. Now on the internet, you're not going to get it for less than $20. But here we have the second prints available, $4.99 for now. Get them while they're hot. They could go quick.
Yeah. Totally surprised us on this one, but I'm glad they gave us an opportunity to carry second prints on it.
Another one I like to bring up anytime I get a chance to talk about it, under Wake Entertainment, Essentia 32. I think this is a unique comic, very independent. They do really crazy things. Like they had at one point, like, take these little tickets out of our comic book and get a J. Scott Campbell variant or a Frank Miller variant back in the early days. They do wild stuff. Their cover art has been absolutely phenomenal, regardless of who they use. This Carla Cohen, for instance, is stunning. I think that if you're into independent wild comics, I think this is one you should check out. At Image Comics, I wanted to highlight that Escape's final issue is coming out, but it looks like they're calling it the end of their story arc, which makes me very, very happy. Rick Remender and Daniel Acuna have something incredible with this book. If you haven't given it a shot, you absolutely need to read it. It is a full journey. It will rip your heart out. Don't let the animal aspect of it turn you away. It's actually done for a real purpose. If you read the back of the first issue, it's actually meant to portray more empathy. There's a study that shows that humans we're easier to find empathy to animals than we are other humans. So the depiction of a animal will actually engage you into a story faster. So, but Escape 6 is the finale of this arc. I wouldn't pick it up if you haven't got the rest. If you are waiting like me, it is a cause for celebration.
Really good stuff there.
Next, I have kind of a two comics that are typical for our variant runway. One is through DC, and that is Harley Quinn. The variants on there, I think, are phenomenal.
Yeah, you've got your standard. We now can expect every month a David Nakayama, an In-Hook Lee, the Valentine's, Chrissy Zulo, the Valentine Day card version there is really great on that. And so they have just consistently turned around and delivered on this. I think that was the end of the list on that there. Wanted to make sure I didn't miss anybody on calling them out.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the few books that variants outpace the main cover pretty substantially.
Yeah.
And that's not a bad thing. It just happens to be that people, want to chase down what they like. So it's really good for that.
I believe the second one over at Marvel will be in the same light, and that is Psylocke Ninja.
No. This is the one. I'm trying to remember. I think we just did the FOC where there was down to just 2 variants on it, but this has more, doesn't it?
This one has.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
Because this one has the Sway,
and
the Yagawa. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, these ones are just, again, gorgeous, eye-catching, absolutely keeps you drawn. These are the kind of covers that when they're placed in the rack of many, you just stop, like you see them. You can't not. They're a great distraction piece from everything else. So I always like to highlight that because there are a lot. And as you see with 14 pages on this bad boy, there is a ton of great new comics that will all be available tomorrow, but you can skip the line. You don't have to wait for me to hit that open sign. You can actually go ahead and just purchase right here through our website. We'll get it all gathered up for you and let you know when to come in to pick them up. Okay. Regardless, that is our time for today. Hopefully you've learned something and caught something that you wanted. We will be back at it tomorrow. I will be with Sean if he doesn't die again. I will be with Sean for our stream sale, and we'll be highlighting a lot of really cool stuff that we got over last weekend and this weekend. It's a bit, so strap in and enjoy that. And we will catch you for New Comic Book Day tomorrow.
Thank you, one. Thank you all.
Bye.
Don't miss in 26. Check out the highlights for New Comic Book Day February 25th, 2026. The new history of the DC Universe explores the Dakota incident in a one-shot special. Discover a new, noir icon in peril of the brutal dark. An Ezra Kane mystery. Flash and Harley Quinn continue. Spider-Man and Venom begin a month-long crossover with a one-shot kickoff called Death Spiral. Predator crashes a martial arts tournament in a mini-series called Bloodshed, and Punisher is back with an all-new ongoing series. Universal Monsters returns with Phantom of the Opera now in the spotlight. Skinbreaker, Capes, and Void Rivals continue. Star Trek gets a special issue focusing on deviations in Threads of Destiny. The Rocketeer returns with a new issue called The Island. And Red Book 1 continues. Get what you want, and more, at iwantmorecomics.com.